Hello everybody, my name is Scatter. Welcome back to Divine Journey 2. So I gotta admit, I was getting a little bit burnt out from the whole Well of Suffering thing, but when I checked a couple hours later and I saw this, it was pretty motivating to see that. So yeah, we just leave the Master Orb in here, got the Well of Suffering going. This is just gonna be full whenever it's idle, and then we're gonna be full up on LP. So today we're gonna continue in a similar vein, and I'm hoping to get will automation set up today, which does take a couple of rituals from blood magic. And for that reason, before doing that, I want to do another ritual, because once I have the will ritual set up, did I say that right the first time? It sounded weird. But when I have it set up, I want to leave it running, right? But there is another ritual that I want to basically just do one and done, or at least for now, it's just going to be one, I think. And I can reuse the ritual stones from that. And that is the Mark of the Falling Tower, which is going to make a meteor, basically. And it says it can easily destroy your entire ritual, but it can be easily stopped if you place a piece of obsidian about 10 or 11 blocks above your master ritual stone. So that's a little concerning. However, I'm going to choose not to worry about it. I do kind of want to go somewhere else, because it's like a large flat area is nice, but then like all the torches around may get in the way. You know what? No. Let's just see. We got the Master Ritual Stone here. That's probably it, right? That's probably all you're doing there. So let's just place down all the ritual stones. This does take 100. So I don't know if this is all of them. That certainly doesn't look like 100 to me. So I'm thinking maybe it goes underground a little bit as well. I don't know, it's still placing them. As long as those particles are there, it's placing them. Okay, I think we're good. We're left with 8. So I think it did place 100, so just right there on the ground is good. And I know it says a piece of obsidian, 10 or 11 blocks. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I'm just going to leave all those there, and I'm also going to give it a little one of these, just to make sure we're all good here. Yeah, and then you know what? Bring me out a little bit more too, because I'm very nervous that this is going to break all the ritual stones. The ritual stones are not the end of the world, if I had to make some more, but I would just rather not lose them in the first place, so that is going to be fine. Now to activate this, I believe it's 1 million LP, and it says we need to drop a Potentia core onto the Master Ritual Stone. So let's just go ahead and see what happens here. Just make sure. 100 ritual stones, yes. Awakened activation crystal. Once activated, drop the potency core to summon the meteor. Okay. I'm nervous, but I'm ready for it. So that has not drained any LP, interestingly. But maybe it's this that will do that. Did we do it? Did it work? Oh! Oh my god. That's so cool. The LP is fully drained. That is so cool. Wow. Okay. Yeah, so I see how that works now. It'll just hit the it drops directly down. So the one piece of obsidian would have been fine, but yeah, if I just let that crash, all this would have been just voided, I assume, which is terrifying to think about. So until I need the electrotine, I'm just going to leave that there, I think, and dismantle this. Now, there is a very easy way to dismantle ritual stones, and it is using the ritual dismantler. So we got that there. It does take normal ritual diviner, which I'm going to have to make another one of. Some dull dust, which I do have here, and we can make a couple of those as well. Okay, so I'll get this made and then dismantle it and then move on to the will generation. Okay, so at this point, we can make another ritual diviner, and we can turn this one into a ritual dismantler, and then we can run over. Actually, before I forget, I'm going to grab my master orb and throw it back into the table just so this fills up. I'm not sure exactly how much LP we're going to need for the upcoming rituals. There's going to be 3, I think, that we need to activate in a pretty short period of time. So there might be some cuts and some waiting for me in between, but regardless, it should be pretty seamless for you. So this meteor, I think I'm just going to leave here until I actually need to mine it up. I mean, it looks kind of cool, right? It's, you know, maybe a little bit ugly as well, but that's okay. So the ritual diviner, I think you can just, let's see, right click. Okay. It's a lot better. Just right click twice. Very fast. Cool. Okay. Now, so for the will generation, the YouTube video that is linked in the quest book sets up a blood magic ritual to spawn creatures as well, but the quest book itself recommends using a powered spawner or cursed earth. I'm going to use cursed earth just because it's a little bit easier to set up, and it's cheaper and it's free. It'll just keep spawning creatures forever, which is cool. But I'm not going to put the cursed earth down just yet because, you know, it wouldn't spawn anything. The cursed earth would probably like burn away in the daylight, and I don't want to deal with that anyway because that's, you know, we're just getting it set up. So we'll do that a little bit later. So the first thing we want to do is set up a ritual stone up here. And the ritual that we want, this is 5 blocks above, or I guess 6. There's like 5 blocks. There's room for 5 blocks to be placed in between this and the ground. I may have to dig this down a little bit more. It's 8 blocks down currently, and I thought that was going to be enough. And I'm really not sure. I'm hoping that it will be, though. Forsaken Souls is the one that we want here. So just place all of the stuff right here. So Forsaken Souls, that is going to kill creatures and increase the will in the chunk. So this is how blood magic works. Each chunk has its own sort of will count. I have the aura gauge in my inventory, which we made for a quest last time, and you can see that up in the top left, that there is no will in the chunk currently. So we can maybe activate this now. Indeed we can. So this is now activated. It's gathering of the Forsaken Souls. So any mobs that are around here, it's going to do damage to, and I believe increase the will in the chunk. We're also going to just put a block right there. It can be any block. Master Ritual Stone, and we're going to put the Fractured Crystal. I wish there was a better way to kind of select this, but whatever. Resonance of the Faceted Crystal. Let me just make sure, because there's a couple crystal ones. Let me just make sure that that is the one that I'm going to want. Resonance of the Faceted Crystal. That was it, right? Yep. Okay. So that's what we want. Now, the cool thing about this is that it'll actually interlock and like fit in with this one. So it builds kind of down and it fits into the gaps. So that's pretty cool in my opinion. So it's just a few ritual stones. And so they're both in there. Now, how much LP do we have? 20,000. And it looks like we do have enough to activate this one as well. And then we just want to put the Demon Crystallizer right on top here. Now, this is level with the ground, which I suppose is fine. And we'll put the Demon Crystallizer right on top. I think at this point, I'm going to build a ceiling just so I don't have to kind of deal with the Cursed Earth down here. Put the Cursed Earth down, remove the torches so things will spawn, and then get the will going. Okay, so there was a little bit of misunderstanding on my part about how this works. This doesn't generate will for the chunk. What it does is grow the crystals using will for the chunk to kill the mobs. So we actually need to put will into the chunk ourselves. So I'm going to get these 5 demon crucibles. And so there's 5 different types of will crystals, right? And the default one is just what's in the Tartaric Gems, right? So we can put that in there. The will is going to drain from that into the chunk. And you can see in the top left, there's like a cyan bar now. And now the mobs in here should be taking damage to the thing. And they looked pretty unhealthy to me. And now once that kind of keeps going for a while, you're going to start to get a crystal growing in here. And then we need to wait for it to break off. The other sort of facets, the other types of crystals will break off onto the floor next to it. And we need to collect, I believe, 6 of each type, and then we can sort of let it self-sustain. But for now, there's just a little bit of waiting for those crystals. Okay, well, that was quicker than I thought. I slept, which may have something to do with it, because I went over to the bed and nothing was here, and I came back and then these appeared like right away. So yeah, so there's 1 of each crystal here, but like I said, we do need 6. So we're just going to wait for it to grow a little more. And I believe all of the colored ones are going to sort of split off like that. Yeah, there we go. So we just need to wait for that to happen a few more times. Okay, well, there's all the crystals. You can see if you look from the top, there's like, they each have 6 prongs, 7 crystals total. And we can just go ahead and break all of these, and we're going to get 7 of each. And that is, we're pretty much done with that portion of it, right? So free will, there we go. And before we get this fully automated, we do actually have to make the Greater Tartaric Gem first, which is going to take a potency core, 1 of the demon will crystals, and another large bloodstone tile, which is not going to be too bad to make. I do have some more crafting that I have to do, though. And of course, I have to kill probably Cyclops until the common Tartaric Gem fills all the way back up, which is going to be kind of annoying. But I think it's going to be one of, if not the last time, I'm going to have to do something like that. But regardless, yeah, I guess I'll just do that. I'll get the crafting ingredients ready, and then we'll move on, make the next gem, and then we can finish the will generation. All right, I went ahead and made another large bloodstone tile, which is we made one before to make the master blood orb, but this time we're going to be using it to make the next level of gem. Now, they were nice enough to give us a full common Tartaric Gem for the quest leading up to it, which you are, of course, going to need to make it. So that's kind of nice. And I think this leftover, 600 or so will does get carried over into the new one. So it's going to be that, a potency core, the large bloodstone tile, and then a demon will crystal. And that's going to make us our next level of Tartaric Gem. So Greater Tartaric Gem, it has been pulled into AE2, which is cool. And okay, the 600 or so, stuff got wasted. It's fine. It's totally fine. So Swole Soul, this is, I don't know how much this one holds actually off the top. Don't know if it says here. It does not. But we get 3 of those crystals for free. Now, does that matter for my money? Not really, no. However, what we can do here, go ahead and grab this one and kind of transfer the rest of that over. So 512. It looks like it holds like 2048, possibly 4096. I'm not going to be too sure. But I do have some demon will here. And if I just toss this out and pick it back up, it's going to go straight into the gem. That's probably kind of negligible, but I mean, it's in the system, so kind of might as well use it. Use it if you got it kind of thing. Sure. And then I think these are all probably empty. Looks like they are. Yeah, I think it's been pointed out before that, in order to make the next tier of gem, you would need to make like the full thing from scratch. So it is really nice that they give you the kind of like current level of gems in the quest leading up to making the new gem, because it saves like a ton of tedious like redone labor, right? So it's pretty cool that they do that for you. Now, the reason I'm back to doing this is because in order to move on with the will generation, this is one of the last steps we need to do. We need to take each of our 5 crystals here and combine 4 of them in the Hellfire Forge to make a crystal cluster. And those each take 100 will, and it takes minimum 1200. So that means I need at least 1600 will in the crystal just to do that, which is fine. It's just a little bit slightly tedious, but we're going to get up to 1600 and then we're going to finish off the will automation. All right, that didn't take too terribly long at all. We got over 1700 in there now, and it looks like it does indeed hold 4096, which is a solid amount. Can't complain about that at all. I'm going to put down our drawers, and these drawers are going to store all the different types of will crystals that we have. Okay, so where's the other one? There we go. Don't know if there's meant to be like an order to these. I'll go ahead and put demon first though, just because it's the one that we, I think it's like the default one kind of thing. And I'll put those there, and then we're going to set up a conduit system in just a minute. But first, I'll grab this second Hellfire Forge, throw that down here. So we are going to be doing our Hellfire Forge crafting in this chunk in the future. So we are going to have to move that and bring some AE2 over here. But I don't think that's like incredibly necessary right now. Now, a cool thing that's going to happen is, so in the top left, you can see the will in this chunk. If I put this in the Hellfire Forge, it's going to start pulling the will from the chunk into it. And ultimately, that's how we do the auto crafting, right? That's how the automation works. So now I was thinking there was going to have to be something like, because I don't think I've ever set up anything like this before. I was thinking, you know, you'd have to like use some conduit, maybe ID system to like pull out the old ones and put in new ones. But no, they just recharge directly in the table, which is super nice. But we are going to take 4 of each. And for each one, we're just going to throw them in like this, and that's going to make the crystal cluster. Now, we actually don't need this ritual here anymore, so we are going to just dismantle it. So we need the other ones, but not that one. So I'll just go ahead and grab some more quartz blocks and just fill out the floor there so it doesn't go horribly wrong with the other stuff that's in there. Didn't mean to grab 2 stacks, but that's totally fine. I got a building wand here somewhere. There we go. Perfect. And now, Demon Will Crystal Cluster. Just got to make all of them. And if you take a look at the quests here, the only thing keeping us from the end of Chapter 17 is willing to pay a price here, and that we get from Electrotine. That actually looks like an insanely complicated item, and I forget what it's called, but I know you use it to make green hearts. It's called Angelic Silicon Crystal Mixture. So it takes all of these crystals, which we're going to automate, so that's fine. But then it takes these silicon things, and you make those from like silicon compound. Like there's, you know, it won't be too bad once we get auto crafting for it, but it's strange for sure, and it seems kind of resource heavy, but I think it won't be too bad. And speaking of things that aren't too bad, we're just getting our crystals to pop here. Last one. So these are basically the same sort of crystal clusters that were generated with the Demon Crystallizer just a few moments ago. Now, don't ask me why you have to like make them here instead of using the ones that the Demon Crystallizer makes, because I have no idea. But we can go ahead and place them down here. And now, with everything we have set up, these are going to automatically grow, I believe. I think I may need to reinsert a little bit of will to kick this off because it is totally empty in the chunk right now. But once we do, now this is kicking off, and then we can harvest these into there, and it does like produce more than it, you know, takes to produce the same amount, if that makes any sense. Like it is a self-sustaining process. That's the whole point. But what isn't automated right now is the harvesting of the crystals, and that is something that we obviously need, because without that it wouldn't be automated. So all that it takes for that. Now this is problematic a little bit, but it's fine. The chunk is claimed, so the explosions aren't doing anything. I'm not worried about dying, but I do need to come in here and just come straight under straight under the Master Ritual Stone that we have for that one, and we need to put another Master Ritual Stone. Now, this really is not working out how I thought it would. Maybe I can put some torches down and stop these guys from spawning just for a solemn few moments. Can we please do that? Okay. It looks we're fine. We're mostly fine. We're mostly fine here. So, okay. Master Ritual Stone. Things are definitely still spawning. I think, well, the witch is just regenerating because witches do that. Okay. Okay, we're calm, we're calm. We just gotta come in here with another Master Ritual Stone, put it straight under that, and the ritual that we need is the Crack of the Fractured Crystal, something along those lines. Crack of the Fractured Crystal, there we go. And we can, if we had a moment here, we have just a moment of your time. We can go ahead and Crack of the Fractured Crystal. Go ahead and start building it. And this one, again, locks in with the other two, which is pretty neat. Are we out of ritual stones? No, we are not. You just can't see the particles from this side. Or unless I'm like in the way. I don't think I am though. Okay, I think that should be good. Does this look nice and symmetrical? I think it does. I think that's what we want. So let's go ahead and activate this one with the activation crystal. Rush of energy flows through the ritual. Awesome. So now I'll break these torches before I forget to make sure everything here is going to remain automated as it is. Torches. Get out of there. Okay, one more torch. There we go. Now, where is the exit? There it is. Now I think it's going to be safe to close this off totally because we won't need to get down there again. But you can see now it's auto-harvesting these. Now, there's a bunch of ways, obviously, that we could, pick them up. But I'm going to go ahead and use an absorption hopper. So I'm just going to offset it. So move that east a little bit, move that north a little bit. And that's perfect. That's just perfectly centered on there. And that should be picking up all of those. So right now, it's only picking up the demon will. Because I think it needs to be like a full demon will cluster to like spawn the other ones. Or something like that. Which I should be fine, I guess. Hopefully. Hopefully. Let me just see if the video covers this. Okay, no, I think what may be the case is the only will in the chunk, well, there's no will in the chunk right now, but the only will that was in the chunk was from Demon Will, so that was the crystal it was making first. Once we start pumping these crystals into the crucibles, and then we're making all the different kinds of will, it'll grow them at more or less the same rate. I think that is sort of the situation here, hopefully. So now all we need is to grab some conduits. And the conduit setup is pretty straightforward. If you've worked with, conduits and channels and stuff, we're basically just going to, well, because the drawers are locked, we can insert on green always, but we're going to extract on 5 different channels and insert to these on 5 different channels. So each one of these is going to be dedicated to a particular one of the channels, right? So we can extract on, I'll just click it like however many number of times, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And they can all insert. I probably should have done this on the first run through. A little bit inefficient. That's okay. Didn't mean to do that there. I'm just making sure that they're all good. Okay, and then you can insert just directly on the top of these ones. And similarly, we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on these ones. Okay, and then connect those up. And now you can see the will. There we go. They're all in there. And the will in the top left corner is completely full. And now it's growing all the different kinds of crystals. There we go. And now, of course, the only thing left, extract from you. And you're all inserting on green. Wonderful stuff. Okay, yes, this is fully automated. Will generation. All right, well, yeah, that's going to be it. I'm going to let this run for a little bit and let a buffer fill up so that we won't get another situation where we have to kind of kickstart it, because if it totally runs out of will with no crystals left, then no more crystals will grow. That's bad. It's not the end of the world. We don't need to do this whole situation again, but it does mean we'd have to get the sentient sword and go kill some stuff and then plug it back into one of the demon crucibles. But as long as we let a little bit of a buffer fill up before using up any of this will, it should be fine. You can see the will in the top left kind of fluctuating as it's being spent to make more crystals. Of course, that's going to keep happening until the drawers are completely full and this just backs up. Although I'm not sure that, it would probably they would just start dropping here. So I guess this system is never going to stop doing this or back up. But, I think it's probably going to be fine the way it is. A buffer is going to build up for sure, and we do have a little bit of one now. So, we can see what happens. We can throw that in there. It's draining the will, the demon will in particular, because they are, I guess they're all demon will. or no, steadfast will, destructive will. I guess these all say demon will for some NBT or item entity type reason, but they are 5 different types of will, and they're all being automated. So that's very cool. I guess at some point off camera, possibly between episodes, I will move this whole ID setup over to this chunk, bring AE2 over, and then we can have fully automated Hellfire Forge, not having to worry about recharging the will, which is fantastic because the alchemy table, which is now automated with the LP over there, and the Hellfire Forge, you know, I've been using auto crafting on those for a while, but you know, it wasn't fully automatic, and now once we get it set up, it will be, which is completely fantastic. So that's very cool. Yeah, you can see again now in the top left, the demon will is empty. So yeah, possibly waited a bit, or didn't wait long enough to put that in. So I am just going to drain that will back into the chunk, and I'll let more of a buffer build up here before sort of actually trying to use it to autograph. But once we do have a buffer, I think it'll be fine. I don't think this is something we're going to have to worry about all the time. It's just a little something we have to worry about right now. But we can go ahead and replace the torches, I guess, wherever the torches were here. Sure, that works. There was probably one here as well, just right in front of these. Just keep everything lit. Are you missing one still? Looks like yes. Right there. Okay. Now everything's lit up just like normal. Okay, well, that pretty much took up an entire episode, but let's take a minute and look at the plan. So the first thing we need to get set up are these silicon wafers, and then once we get whatever this key is, that's going to be another 2 more, I think, abyssal craft dimensions. But then once we're in there, whatever we get from that last one should let us get into chapter 18, which is way further into Botania, and it looks like some more blood magic stuff as well. And then whatever the Dark Realm is, I have no idea, but I'm looking forward to it. Then it's on to Thaumcraft, which is insane. That has always felt so late game. You know, we're finishing up chapter 17 of 30. You know, I know it's been over 100 episodes, but I mean, that's still decent progress, I think. So I'm looking forward to it, and I hope you are too. But for now, if you made it this far, thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you on the next one. Bye.